but something's stopping me every time. Oh, faking a smile while we're breaking apart. Oh, I never meant to take it this far. Too late to save me, so don't even start. Oh, you never meant to hurt me, but you're making it hard. Don't tell me that you're gonna miss me. Just tell me that you wanna kill me. Don't say that you love me, 'cause it hurts the most. You just gotta let me go. I really thought this was for the best, and never worked last time that I checked. I got this pain stuck inside my chest, and it gets worse the further I get. Oh, faking a smile while we're breaking apart. Oh, I never meant to take it this far. Too late to save me, so don't even start. Oh, you never meant to hurt me, but you're making it hard.
Hi, I was just okay. You guys came on so fast. Hello, welcome to K Talk Live. It's been a while. Hello from Toronto. I was just organizing my very messy desk right now to show you guys some stuff. Like, it's show and tell time to start with some updates because it's been so long. I mean, I keep in touch with a lot of you. Hello, who's here? Put in like your little hellos. Where are you dialing in from? Joe from Toronto. Hopefully you're getting warmer weather. We're officially in summer here. Zoe from Minneapolis. Who else? Who else is here? I want to hear from you guys as I'm organizing my show and tell for you guys because it's been so long. And hi. Okay, I think that's Carla. Are you from, is it New York? I hope so. And I'm trying to find something. You guys, I really have a reason. I'll just show you all my stuff here. Welcome to K Talk. Lots of stuff to share. First, I'll just share my show and tell. I have these stickers. So I recently, oh yeah, right, Connecticut. Yes, I knew that. I emptied out my like stuff. Like, I still have stuff to unpack. Sometimes I'm like, why am I unpacking when I have to pack again? But I found these stickers that I got in the Philippines, where they are avid K-culture fans. I mean, they're so much fun to be around. I've never been around like a country that was so excited about, you know, Korean culture, K-pop. Obviously, I spent the whole time with ARMY, so that was all about BTS. And then I got these stickers at the BTS pop-up there, but I'm missing one person. And I couldn't get that one person sticker because they were stickler on rolls. They're like, yeah, you get the sticker when you do. I was like, I can't get one person sticker. Yeah, V is missing. Hello. Oh, hello. I'm so glad you're in Seoul. I heard it's pouring rain there. It seems like it's going to be very rainy this season. Let's hope it doesn't hinder our tours. Okay, now I'm going to show this. Isn't this cool? So the saying, you guys would know, just first of all, the best is yet to come is a popular thing to say. But then if you know BTS song, but I for some reason get a lot of gifts when I visit people, and I put them away because I'm busy at the event. And then I forget to like look at my gifts. So that's pretty sad. So I was emptying my tote and emptying luggage and found this gem of a card. The reason why I say gem, because, okay, see, someone wrote very lengthy. And like, it's just a very heartwarming card. You know, these days we don't write as much like letters and cards anymore, but I get from you guys when I meet you at these events, written postcards and letters. And I just love the way she started. My dearest Jeannie Chang, Noona's Noonchi, I just want to say thank you for all the light and love you so wonderfully bring to our lives and to everyone. And then she says a bunch of stuff. But I just thought it's so, thank you for this. Thank you for this card. I don't know if you're on here, but I'm so thankful that I got to read this card today. So I have this. And then, okay, hello from Seattle. Yay, Cindy. Karen, hi. You got together with Gail and Donna to share airdrop lots of pictures, the tour pictures from yesterday, 3 hours, and we only got through 3 days. Oh my goodness. We do take a lot of stuff, and then we ask you to upload stuff. So that's the benefit of the tours. Can you imagine if you guys took 3 hours for one tour? Can you imagine what it's like for me? Because I'm like going through things. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't know we had this photo. So there's a lot of that. Sometimes I get overwhelmed when I see all the footage I have. Thank goodness for a lot of memory. Okay, let me show you this. You guys saw this already. May the Chung be with you. We gave these tote bags out at the Seoul Festa at our booth, which was so well received. I mean, actually, it was very draining, and I'm very thankful for my team that was there. Thank you, team, for being there all 6 days. I would say Jonathan and I were only there for like, okay, I think the last 4 days, but it was exhausting because, actually, they probably did more work. Exhausting for me to actually talk to everybody, right? And interact with everybody and seeing so many Koreans go through. So this is just a fraction of the Post-its that I chose to save because we got thousands came to our booth. And I only saved like probably, I don't know, hundreds of this. But I wanted to read some of them to you because this is so special. Hi, Sophie. Yes, there's a lot. So this, and then showing you the stickers we gave out. We gave these out in English and Korean. They're like mindfulness stickers, mindfulness sayings. And then we gave out these brochures. I'm just sharing this with you because that's the first time that we did a booth. And I'm not used to things like that, and it was very exciting to be there. And we got, like I said, a lot of attention through our healing wheel. And we asked questions like, the questions on our healing wheel was like things like, give yourself a compliment today. If they spun that, what K-drama genre are you? Like, what's the character that you most relate to? And have people think it through. And it was really neat to see 90% of the Koreans write them. These are all in Korean. And I wanted to choose a couple of them. Weather back home in the UK is better at the moment. Yeah, rainy weather right now in Seoul. I just heard it's supposed to be rainy this season. We got some really good ones, like a lot about people being happy, people sharing their favorite K-dramas. I mean, things like just happy. I was just looking at that. And then a lot of them quoting like their favorite characters. This one is the When Life Gives You Tangerines, I use character. I love saying things like, I'm thankful for my mom and dad. And you know what we learned, because Jonathan and I are reading them, the way they write is really cute. So the people are trying to be cute. When you see them in K-dramas, they have this like cuteness, like this aegyo, that's what it's called. They write like that too. So I'm trying to find the ones I was looking at, and I think they're all over the place, but they write like the way they speak in K-dramas where it's all cutesy. And so there's some things you learn even about the culture when they're writing, and it's cute. They're not just saying 사랑해요, they're like saying 사랑해요. It's so cute. And of course I can't find it because there's hundreds right here. So I'm going to do something with these someday because just reading them this morning, they're just so special. A lot of people sharing their happiness. Obviously they came to the booth, whether it's after work or on Children's Day with their parents. And I talked about that, and I really, really thought it was a great experience. And I loved seeing them so eager to write something and then put it on the board. So I realized Koreans really like that kind of stuff. And it's really special. So this, and then this tote bag, yes, will make it available to people. I got a lot of requests for that. So, and we did that on a whim just to have some giveaways at our booth. And then I wanted to show, this. Okay. This is my ticket from going to Lee Min-ho's fan meet, which was in Manila, Philippines. And I shared a little bit about it. It was like a K-pop concert. And so I asked, is that normal? Do you normally have fan meets? Because I've been to a few now in the US, well, just one in the US, sorry. And then have I been to a couple in Korea? But they're not like that in Korea. So they're normal fan meets. Like they're talking, there's some laughter, there's some games. This was a full-on concert. He came out with the mic, like lights were off and everybody had light sticks. And then we were thinking, oh, that's why they were selling light sticks. Because I saw the light sticks. I was like, we don't need light sticks. Yeah, we kind of needed them. And so it was a good experience. I'm sharing this with you because that's when I realized being with fandom in a positive way. I can talk about how it's not always positive, but when you're with fandom that's overwhelmingly so into K-pop, K-dramas, Korean culture. Lee Min-ho, obviously, he's a big star, but it was really kind of cool. So I kind of observed things, and we were very obviously exhausted because I had my book event, but it was like literally a K-pop concert. And those are moments I want to just share about. So that is really cool. And I do highly recommend, if you're able to go in a different country like the Philippines, go, because it's very different than being in Korea. They're very excited too. It's just a little bit more reserved, if that makes sense. And then I found this too. I'm just giving you literally what's in my tote bag. This was from maybe the Happy album that we got for free at Cafe Magnet. Sorry, it's Cafe Z Millennial now. That we got on my tour. We got the Happy album in March. So I met a friend and she had a lot of giveaways. So sometimes we have things like that. And we get to meet Jimin's father, which I will say so nice and so good to my tour folks. And then I'm going to end with this update because I also went to the Jeonju Film Festival. This is a really old photo of my uncle and me at 100 days old in Korea. And because I left after my 100th day birthday, which is a big deal in Korea. And then him with me here in Philadelphia, where I was like 5 years old. Why are these photos special? Because my uncle just celebrated a documentary at the Jeonju Film Festival and was really proud to be there for him and with him and see his work being celebrated. He was very celebrated in the 80s, known as the Steven Spielberg of Korea. So that's them. And he gave this to me, saying he had another, like, I guess another digitized version of it, but just saying it was such a cute memory. I know, you should see me. See my hair? Yeah. The saying was that I was like hot tempered, which is why my hair stood straight up for like 100 days. It was like literally straight up. So that was the joke in Korea. Like, they have all these sayings. Oh, if you're really hot tempered person or very whatever, like feisty, that's how your hair is. And I guess that was me. So that's some updates. Oh, reunion tours. Yeah, we launched them. I don't know if maybe a lot of you guys are on here for my tours. So we're really proud that we sold out September very quickly. Actually, proud is not the word. Actually, I got stressed going, oh my God, maybe we need to add more because May is halfway sold. And then we sold the Magic Shop spot. So that just shows me how special you think of our tours, and really excited about our Magic Shop tour, the BTS tour that launches in June, so literally in a month, and that's why we have to fly back in 4 weeks, and I'm so excited about that one. And then our reunion tours, which we're really excited because there's a whole new itinerary for that one, and probably a little more complex, because that's the way we roll. Got to up our game with the reunion tours because we're going on the completely other side of Korea, and it's all along the coast. So we figured with the reunion tour, some people already know each other, cross meeting on tours. So we're going to be seeing lots of the coast and K-drama sites along the coast, of course, but also some BTS sites as well, because there's some iconic sites on that side. So that's that. I wanted to share that. So if you haven't registered, please do. Because I want to see you, and maybe I'll see you. I think I'll see some people this year as well, because we still have. Oh yeah, you know how many tours we have left? 1, 2, 3. We did. We have oh my God, 6 tours left. Yeah. So the fall is crazy. Summer we have BTS, Magic Shop, and we have a food tour in the middle of the heat. So that's going to be very interesting. And then the fall. So those are the updates with the tours. Okay, so let's talk K-dramas and questions I have. Ask questions as I go along, but here I go with what I'm watching. Okay. Tastefully Yours. I just started it, so I really can't say much, except it's just fun, just fun watch. Right now at this point, I need like fun and brainless, and that's what it seems like. I do like their chemistry. This is with Ko Min-shi and Kang Han-il, and he's like, people are saying he's really overacting. I go, yeah, I guess he is, but he does tend to do that, right? So it's just comedy at this point. And what I like is it's filmed in Jeonju. So guys, if you've been on my tour, the only thing I recognize so far is maybe this one alleyway, but you'll see things from the distance that we've been to. Actually, the Jeonju traditional school was in the distance, but I think we'll see more things. But it's so cool that it's set in Jeonju, which I don't see a lot of K-dramas set in. They're usually filmed there, but they're not saying it's Jeonju. So it's really cool that they're highlighting that city. And I did hear when I was there for the film festival that they're really going to boost Jeonju a lot. So that's exciting because that's probably my second favorite city outside of Seoul. Hi, hello, Alva. So glad you're here. Okay, so that's really not much to say except I think it's just a fun watch. Okay, that's Tastefully Yours. Okay, this one is Second Shot at Love. I started because a few of you guys mentioned it and I'd seen it and I went, oh, let me just start this because I'm fighting jet lag. And it's, again, only 2 episodes in, too early to say too much, except I really like the fact that the very first scene was talking about alcoholism. And I was like, what is this? So I'm interested. Some people are wary because, like, how are they going to tackle this? But there's different ways of tackling it. So far, what they're showing in a comedic way, which I don't think is bad because you can make it a comedy, but you're still tackling a serious subject, is how the neighbors and the family members are handling what they see as alcoholism, but I'm not sure it is. Does that make sense? The female lead is approached in a certain way, but I'm doubtful because something happened in the second episode to show it's not quite that. That's all. I'm not going to spoil it, but at least they're tackling this and addressing it in their own way. And I'll just see how it plays out. But I do like the neighborhood reaction going, we're not going to contribute to this. You need to, like, make sure you curb your drinking. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Showing the very small town feel that we all love about K-dramas. So so far I'm liking it. And I really like also one of the things in a K-drama that I like to look at is chemistry. I do like their chemistry. So immediately off the bat, I felt like, oh, they have some chemistry, the female lead and the male lead, which I've seen him in. I think he was in Once Upon a Small Town. No, was that? No, that he was not in Once Upon a Small. He was in some historical drama. So you probably seen him before. That's Second Shot at Love on Viki. Only 2 episodes in. Only 2 episodes launched. Okay, and then the other drama that I'm watching is Heavenly Ever After. This is about 8 episodes, and I'm all caught up. Still not sure how I feel. Like, I like the premise. It's interesting. There's a lot of, I would say, spiritual, religious, like, thought here. And it's very interesting that way, right? And then they really showcase animals like dogs and cats in the afterlife. And so that is probably what sticks out to me. It's kind of heartwarming that way and how they play a role in their owners' lives. And if you're like a pet owner, it like tugs at you. And so there's some emotional moments in there. And then just trying to figure out Han Ji Min's character. Who is she? There's some rumors that she could be the female lead, whatever. If you're not watching it, it's very confusing, but I'm still enjoying that and still watching because now I'm like basically like halfway in. So, and I love Son So-gu, like he's so cute. So watching that, except the only thing I will say about that also too is just sharing a little bit about, like, not your past life, but the whole redemption. There was a moment where I'm like, oh, is that what it's about? Like how you lived your life, what that looks like, right? And just getting you thinking. So a K-drama gets you thinking. I think that's still good, though I'm still trying to figure this one out. But either way, I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it enough to watch it. Does that make sense? Okay, and then the last one I'm watching, this is the most I'm watching because I'm jet lagged. Resident Playbook. It's not as good as Hospital Playlist. No, but it's kind of neat to see all of them made a cameo. At this point, all of them had made a cameo. There's only 2 episodes left. And so what I like about it is, again, like the camaraderie of friendship. You're seeing a lot of the dynamics. There is some good chemistry with the female leads, and it's just a fun watch. Very simple watch. Obviously, some moments where they're treating the patients and you see some dynamics of the doctors in charge and the residents. All the things you see in Hospital Playlist, except I just like, this is just my thing. Hospital Playlist to me is the original, and I will go back to that. So I highly recommend that one if you haven't seen that one. They just go a little bit more in depth with the patients and the stories. Resident Playbook, what it's titled, is about the residents. The Hospital Playlist was about the doctors, the main leads, but also the stories of the people they worked with. So I feel like that's why Resident Playbook focused more on the residents. Does that make sense? But I'm enjoying that one too. And just watching that one. So when I say I'm jet lagged, I'm watching these overnight because I'm like, oh, I'm awake. And sometimes I'm awake in Korea too. But that one's a little different. This one's like, I need to fight jet lag. So that's why I'm like watching all these. So the jet lag is bad still, very much bad. And I think it's going to be that way. And I figured out why. Because the jet lag's bad when you're in Korea too, but you're much busier there because it's a much faster paced life. So when I'm here, I'm actually working a little bit more on my clinical side of things, but it's a little just normal pace, like 8-hour day. Seoul is on supersonic speed. Like you have to get things done in like 4 hours. I thought about why it's like that. First of all, the pace is like that in Korea, and it just so happens there are just so much more moving parts to the business there. So that's why it's a little busier. You just started it now, halfway. I'm assuming you're talking about the last one I just talked about, Resident Playbook. Yeah. So those are the ones I'm watching. Not really, really deep dives. When Life Gives You Tangerines was the last one that I really felt had a lot. But like I said, there's always things to watch and lots of good content. The other thing I want to start is the one that's coming up next week, Park Bo Young's, where she plays two people. She plays twins. I do want to watch that. And I hear good things about that. And then there's something else that's coming up too. Oh, is anybody seeing the one about the bodybuilder who's a trainer? That's on Vicky. I have to start that one too because I like that actor. But that's so much to start. So that's what I'm watching. Now there's some questions that you guys sent that I'm going to answer. And then, by the way, if you have questions as we go along, please do. But I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, so let's go with the first question. One person flicking another as shown in K-dramas. Yes, I know this person who asked this. Like flicking like this. Yes, it's common. It's common because our family does it when we play games. It's all in good jest from my angle of it. It has been done also to discipline. So yes, I will say I was also disciplined growing up with the flick. And so that's not fun. And then I think there was a couple scenes in some K-dramas where they're red, like from flicking. Yeah. That can happen too. So it's common. It's okay. Carla is saying, watch out, that's it. Pump up the healthy love. I would like to start that because I love the male lead. And just watch Dear. Oh yes, with is it Lee Jae-wook is in that one? And then Jo Pora. Yeah, I do want to start that one too. See, so much stuff to watch. I guess summertime, it's a good time to watch. So I guess the person asking this, maybe they were bothered by it. I get it because I have seen it done to parents with kids. It was done to me to discipline. And I would sit there going like, they'll flick here. It's not really your forehead, but for the games, it is your forehead. And you just do it when, I don't know, you miss a round or whatever, but it is common. Yeah. And I'm wondering if you asked that because you saw it in something. Yes. Maybe you see it. Tell me what K-drama you saw it in recently, but you see it in the game shows maybe too, flicking. Parents have flicked. Yeah. And I think Lee Jae-wook, or Kim Jae-wook or Lee Jae-wook? I think it's Lee Jae-wook, right? Kim Jae-wook? Okay, Kim Jae-wook. Sorry, you get the names mixed up, but that is common. So hopefully I answer that question. Yeah. The other thing I want to say is I've also seen parents resort to that instead of like spanking or corporal punishment. That used to be very common when you're little, in Korea and even in the US. So I've seen that too. Again, Korean. I don't think I see it in other Asian cultures. But I'm going to say this. I've only seen it done within families. And friends in games. I don't see it in a professional setting. If it's done in a professional setting, it would be because they're having a drinking game and they're playing for fun, but it should not be done as a discipline in a professional setting. Does that make sense? Yeah. Tastefully Yours. You know what? I love how people bring this up because I missed it in Tastefully Yours. So I have to go back and watch that. Sometimes I'll miss things because maybe I'm used to seeing it. But yes, to answer your question, it is common. So let's go to the next one. Many K-dramas explore themes of loneliness even when surrounded by people. Why is this a relatable feeling today? And how can someone begin to address it in real life? Whoa, that's a doozy of a question. It's not just in K-dramas. I think it's in a lot of things. And you could be very lonely when you're surrounded by people. maybe because you don't feel understood, like there's a lot of reasons. You don't feel understood. You feel like you're that lone person outsider, even if people are around you, because you don't feel like you have things in common with the person. There's a difference between feeling lonely and being alone. I feel like being alone is your choice. Like you want to be alone, but feeling lonely is kind of like sad, right? But I do believe just like no one's immune to anything in life. I'm trying to think, but no one's immune to loneliness. Like it doesn't matter if you're an extrovert or you're an introvert that chooses to be alone. No one is immune to feeling lonely. And so I think that's a big issue in mental health. So if you feel lonely, then do something about it. Like as in, and that was me saying it very flippantly. No, I need you to do something about it. Like I do too. Like I'm like, okay, if I feel lonely, I think it's really, this is when I feel like I'm not connecting with friends, then I make an effort to feel very connected with people and people you want to be connected with. Like not just because if you're feeling lonely, don't just grab the first person. No, you have to be very purposeful, because actually someone you're with can make you feel even more lonely. I know lots of people in marriages that can feel lonely, or relationships, or like siblings or families. There are times when I've been at family reunions and I remember feeling lonely. Again, not being understood, or I don't know, being annoyed with conversation that you don't quite enjoy the conversation. There's a lot of that. So it could be a daily thing. Then it's more like, how can you address it? Well, I really mean it. Make appointments with people, do things that you purposely want to do, take things out that you feel like contribute to that. And K-dramas show that really well. In fact, if you watch something in a K-drama and you're like, that's a good idea, then make note of it. Do you know how many times I'm getting so much better at when I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, episode 4, timestamp 21, 22, to make note of something that I really like that they did for later purposes, especially when people ask me questions and I'm deep diving. Make note of something you're watching in a K-drama that the protagonist or even antagonist was lonely, and then they did something about it and you saw the difference. That is another reason we can learn from the K-dramas, these techniques. Someone shared Alva shared little behind the current K-drama, but I love the dog angle. And yeah, the dog and cat angle, right? Been catching up on BTS shows. I flicked my kids while playing a game. I don't think I've done that actually. I've been flicked for sure, but maybe I did. Oh, you know what? I think when they were little, and so it totally. And actually, there's some parenting books out there that tell you to flick your baby when you're breastfeeding them. Maybe that's TMI, but when you're breastfeeding them and they bite you, they say you can give a little flick. So it's there, and I think because I read lots of parenting books raising my kids, but a little bit off the wall there. Yes, BTS shows. I tend to turn to BTS shows when I'm not feeling well. So that tells you something, And so when I'm physically in bed, but hopefully that answered you. Someone begin to address in real life, you have to be proactive. Don't be reactive. So it's okay to be reactive because you feel lonely. You're like, oh, what can I do about it? Then do something and figure out what that looks like in your calendar. Like fill your calendar with things like, you know what? I haven't done this lately. I'm going to go talk to this person. Oh, you know what? I've been watching too many dark K-dramas. I'm not going to watch it anymore. I'm going to watch this. All that contributes to loneliness. And then also, of course, be with the people you purposely want to be with. And someone just asked me this recently. If there's someone lately that you used to be close to that you're not, that can also contribute to it. Sometimes some of that you need some space from people that you could be close to, And I think that's okay. Hopefully that answers that question. Okay, the next one. Workplace stress, toxic bosses, burnout are common themes. Yes. What can K-dramas teach us about advocating for mental health in work settings? Oh, okay. I love this. I love this cup. Okay, mug. They can teach us a lot, actually. There's always burnout is so common these days. I think it's the most common topic I'm talking about. But a lot of things contribute to burnout. Burnout is, it's okay, you're late. It's kind of early where you are. I'm talking to someone who just chopped in. I dance when I feel lonely if I cannot reach out to someone right away. I need to know about that. What do you dance to? What kind of music? That is fun. Thanks for sharing that. That's another form of self-care. I love it. And so burnout too. Burnout can be not, by the way, burnout is not just work. I define it all the time. Burnout can be real life. You're tired of being a caregiver. You're a tired mom with young kids, or like newly divorced, burnout. So that it's not just, it trickles into your workplace, and the workplace trickles into home. So people talk about burnout when it came to work, but it's all parts of your life. So when you see something in a K drama, especially at work, when we see like people advocating for themselves, I don't think it's someone says something like, "Oh, that's so not realistic." I go, "Yes, it is." It's just done in a dramatic way in a workplace. It might be an email you write if you feel like you need to advocate for your own well-being at work, or it might be in a text that you send, or it might be in a conversation you have on Zoom. Everything you see in a K drama, I believe it's real life. They just amplify it because they just dramatize it. Like, when they do these big confrontations. I'm not saying that, but you have to advocate. By the way, the only person advocating for your mental health is you. Like, even if you have a therapist or you have strong family members of support and a spouse, you still have to advocate for yourself of like what makes sense for you. Like, like if you need a little break, you have to advocate all that. Toxic bosses, that is a little bit harder to come by because it's not like you can fire your boss, and you might have to be, what do you call? You're bound to your work. This is harder. So this is the best way to remedy that is what can you do on a daily basis that can help. So don't think long term how to handle your toxic boss. Like people think like, okay, what can I do? And they think this big, like very abstract way. I'm like, no, what can you do like Tuesday? What can you do when you wake up on Tuesday morning that you're going to do that day? So that's what I call mental health hygiene. You probably heard me say that. Your hygiene, which is something you do daily, physically, mentally, what is that for Tuesday, for instance? Tuesday you have a meeting and your boss is there and you can't stand this person and they ruin your day. Then you're like, what can I do? Well, how about I just answer? And if this person gets a little bit, I don't know, discriminatory or mean, you just will be prepared for that. Sometimes I say, be prepared that they're going to be this way. That'll actually help you build that tolerance. And then you decide the minute after the meeting ends, maybe you decide you're going to go out for lunch, or you take a break from your laptop if you work from home. So that's what I mean by hygiene. It has to be daily. It cannot be like this overarching, how do I handle my boss? And I give you this long answer like, oh, no, I would ask you to do something each day. That also helps with burnout. Also, burnout is maybe, yeah, by the way, if you're noticing my bangs, I think I talked about this. The person like butchered my bangs. Note to self, don't go to your mom's hairstylist. I say that. And then people are like, well, what if they're watching you on Instagram? I'm like, no, they don't speak a lick English. It's all in Korean because it's a traditional neighborhood Myongshil, which is a hair salon. Yeah. I sat down, I was like about to speak and she's like, oh yeah, you need this. And I'm like, what's happening? I think she was done in like 5 minutes. So I got it done, but then I saw the bangs and I was like, wait, what is she doing? Yeah. You know what? Yeah. But apparently that's the trend. Bangs. Are you seeing that in K-dramas? People have bangs. Yeah. It doesn't work for me. And I have this thing. So I just want to share that. If you see me going like this, it's because I'm constantly trying to fix those bangs. It'll grow out. Sorry, I was getting distracted. Burnout also can contribute when people don't value you. When you constantly feel like you have to like prove yourself, or I don't know, prove to yourself, to your friends that you are important and they should value your friendship. That is draining. Also at work, when you feel like they don't appreciate your work, that also contributes to burnout. So all of this is you advocating for mental health. If it helps you, you are not to share about your value and your work for the other person. I think I say this a bazillion times. You don't go, my boss needs to appreciate me. You actually reframe that going, you know what? I deserve to feel appreciated. So this is what I'm going to do. And you can't control the reaction. But I almost can guarantee you'll feel better because you did something about it. Like you're like, oh, I sent this email showing the latest project I'm working on. And God, I feel good because they need to know that I did this, right? So that helps you. I do it too. I'm like, they don't know that I did this, so I'm going to say something. And so there are times when I say something, especially in Korea, and I'm getting much more bolder at it. So all of this, I'm sharing that it takes work that I work hard at too for my own mental health, because you walk away and you're like, and you feel, I don't know, crappy, or you feel your ego took a hit, or just you just don't feel good about yourself because that's the situation, well, then I'm asking you, what can you do to advocate for yourself, to and it's all about you advocating. Like, really, you're the best advocator of your own well-being. People help you because that's the definition of mental health. Social well-being, yes, they contribute to that, but you have a choice whether or not you can do your best to allow that person in. Does that make sense? If they're not benefiting you. Workplace stress. Stress is a part of life. Expect that. It's not me being flippant about stress. Just I tell people going, well, work is stressful, right? Some work, some days not stressful. Some of you love your work and that's great, but still it's work. So it can be stressful. So when you expect that, that probably takes 50% of the stress away. And then the other 50% is you getting through that day, or doing something to get through that day. So I tend to think daily. I have long-term plans, of course, and you have long-term where you want to be, or like even next month, what it looks like for work. But you have to, in the midst of that long-term umbrella, you go, okay, then how do I get through this week? How do I get through Monday? This is what's going to happen. I need you to think like that. And then you will switch it up. You're going to do different things, part of your hygiene. Some things you will do the same, like you wake up and decide you're not going to check emails till like 9 a.m. Great. But some other things you may decide to do on a different basis, on a daily basis. So hopefully that helps you. Okay, the next question. I think there was like 10, I think I chose. Why do some K-dramas portray characters healing through community and shared meals? And how important is that sense of daily connection and real life mental wellness? Why do some K-dramas portray characters healing through community? Oh my goodness. I mean, so belonging is pretty much period. Belonging, period. You want to feel part of something. That is why that loneliness is, well, that whole saying, loneliness kills, not literally like kills, but again, attribute to your physical well-being. So that is why we actually love K-dramas, seeing the eating together. Part of my tours, not even part, a good chunk of the tours is eating together. Even if, we're eating with different people, right? We're still on the same tour, but that's the whole experience. That is why meals are really important in a family. When you have a meal together, you know what I'm talking about, especially you raise your kids and they're in the house and you're eating together. Very, very important, because maybe that's a time when you can all sit. It's an essential thing to do, to eat and then actually talk in person. It's very hard to do these days. So you have to make a concerted effort. And I think there's actually a lot of things you learn about a person over a meal. When you meet somebody new, you have coffee. It's a lot of fun. That's actually a big thing in Korean culture, meeting at a cafe. It may not be a meal, but you're still meeting, doing something. Really important to have that FaceTime. And you can do it over Zoom, by the way, too. Like, people give me excuses like, oh, we're virtual. I go, yeah, but now we do everything virtually. You can do things virtually as well. But shared meals is so special, and it's a huge part of the Korean culture. I want to tell you, like, because we live in a place that's filled with family here and there, most of the time it's just been me and my husband or my own family, but we have family coming through. That shared meal is crucial. Like, that is where, like, almost I feel the pressure. I'm like, oh my goodness, we just ate, but we got to go home and eat again. It is a big part of the culture in Korea to eat and eat some more with family. And I did hear the trend has been to eat solo. Someone told me that, oh, there was a whole solo saying that you eat by yourself, like honbap or something. And I'm like, I think they saw my face. They're like, what? It's a trend. I go, yeah. I feel like that's kind of sad. It's okay to eat by yourself occasionally. Yes, you eat and whatever, but I don't know if I recommend that all the time, because it's just nice to enjoy food together. You see it in the K-dramas, sharing the panchan. Korean is all about sharing, dishes, and then you have your own dish too, but you share a lot. So it's a big deal. There's also healing in that, because maybe there's uncomfortability in your situation and family and friends, but when you have a meal, it kind of dissipates. Have you ever had that before? Like, you don't really know what to say, but you're eating, but then it kind of, that experience of being together in physical setting, just not saying much, can also be healing. Actually, don't underestimate that, because a lot of women tend to be like, oh, we need to share. And I agree, that's important. But I know a lot of people who don't say much and spend that physical time eating. And sometimes that's enough in a family for healing. Like, trust me, because I'm like, we didn't say anything, but we had this meal together, but clearly they felt close to us. right? So that is that whole sense of belonging is so important. The daily connection, the sense of daily connection in real life, critical. You don't have to feel connected to everybody in real life, but it's very important to feel connected to something. Doesn't have to be someone, but someone is more important than something. But feeling connected, maybe today it's your work. And maybe like there's times when I have so busy, all I'm doing is working and I'm like, oh, but I feel connected to what I'm doing. But the next day I might need some people time, right? So very important to have that connection in real life every day. What is coming? Well, sorry, food. Dance the BTS mostly or any high energy pumping music. Food is love and healing. Staying with my family or eating and drinking tea. Yeah, I do like. Do you know that I'm sometimes guilty of rushing, like eating, and I have to be reminded by my family, going, "Okay, you could sit." Do you know when my kids were little, my youngest actually asked me, "Oh, mommy, um, like, why do you eat standing up?" And I'm like, "Huh?" Like I ate standing up because I was like so busy. So I also have to be reminded to sit and eat, enjoy that meal. So that's why my tour food, my tour meals are so important to me. So what is coming to mind talking about that is if you wish upon me, the meals in the kitchen of the center. Yeah, I love that one. The Chi Chang Wook. That's such a good one. That's on Vicky Guy's like hospice setting, like end of life setting, but really, really precious K-drama. Yes, food is a big part of all our gatherings with friends and family. The only time I like to eat alone is when I'm extremely tired or need to think. Actually, I eat alone at home, right? That's like no brainer. That's different. But eating out alone, it's just not me. Now, husband like doesn't mind doing that. I'm like, you eat alone, but he doesn't do that all the time. But he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't do that. That's the extrovert in me, but that I just know that I'd rather not eat and meet somebody. That's just my personality. But yeah, so I'm just sharing, know yourself. If you feel like you need a little break and you want to eat by yourself, yes, I'm not saying don't do that. But yeah, those shared meals are, you don't have to say a lot. People feel like silence is bad. No, like, and this is coming from an extrovert. Silence is sometimes okay as you're eating and you're enjoying and maybe passing each other food, that nonverbal of like pouring it, that's all love. So let's go to the next one. How can viewers protect their emotional well-being when binge watching emotionally heavy shows? Okay. Someone, I don't know who asked this, but someone in real life told me I binge watched When Life Gives You Tangerines. I know a few people, I'm like, you binge watched When Life Gives You Tangerines? Because that is as emotionally heavy as it gets. There's a lot more, obviously, but that is why sometimes I know if you have to binge because it makes sense, your schedule, all that stuff. Yeah. But if it's emotionally taxing, sometimes that does the opposite effect. Like you're watching a K drama for self care and you enjoy it, you need escape. But if you're watching something really heavy and it's like 2 days worth of 16 episodes or 12 episodes, it might not have the effect that I want it to have on you. So be cautious of that when you're, I don't know, constantly crying. I feel like crying is good until you cry too much. Then I feel like there's a little bit much. There is a such thing as crying a lot, like too much. Do you know what I'm saying? So then I would say take a break. How you protect yourself is taking a break. That is why I don't mind watching K dramas that are like once a week or twice a week. I need to take a break. It's really, really taxing. Well, I took a break with it was like a triggering drama. What was it recently? It was like something very flippant. It wasn't even like a heavy When Life Gives You Tangerines or even a thriller. I talked about taking a break because I was annoyed by the mom. I forget what it was, but I took a break. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to stop this episode midway. And I think I actually never went back to it, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, I know I talk about the dramas, but I don't watch everything, and I certainly don't binge watch everything. So you should definitely take a break from that. Also protecting your well-being is maybe the subject matter. Like, okay, when people ask me things like I'm grieving, what do you recommend? I don't always recommend a drama about grief. In fact, that might be the counterproductive part. It might be better to watch something that is not anything to do with that. So be careful about the topics you're watching. Just because you're going through something doesn't mean you need to watch it. In fact, sometimes it's better you don't, you know? So that's another way of protecting yourself, being choosy on the shows you watch, taking a break is fine. There's so much content that you can watch variety shows. I've taken a break watching some of the variety shows that are so funny and watching talk shows. One of my favorite talk shows is You Quiz on the Block. I always wonder why they named it that. But You Quiz on the Block, and they interview all these actors that are like literally trending or like their latest drama. That's really fun to watch, and I'll be mesmerized watching interview after interview because you get a glimpse of the people that you love watching in dramas. So you take a break. That's the best thing I can tell you. Stop when something's taxing, and you don't need someone to tell you that. Like if something's taxing, you'll know. Hopefully that helps you. Yeah. Oh, and then also you don't have to go back to it, by the way. I certainly haven't. There's many shows I've stopped. I'm like, life, I'm too busy, right, to watch shows that don't really do it for me or like trigger me. And what triggers me are those mother-in-law things. I just have to share that. I'm like, oh, the mom yelling, not so good. In the Heavenly Ever After, there's a whole series on the mother-in-law I wanted to bring up that I thought was actually really well done. Like in the afterlife, talking to your mother-in-law and seeing these and talking it through. I really liked it. So I highly recommend that. I'm just sharing certain topics. If you know certain things are triggering, you don't have to watch it. But sometimes it can be healing, which is Heavenly Ever After. Okay. Or is it called Heavenly Ever After? I think that's what it is. Okay, next question. Let me know if you have questions as I go along. How can stories of healing and redemption in K-dramas help people believe in second chances for themselves or others? Well, first of all, you should have second chances. Like, I hope we don't live our life that there's only this one chance. Do you know what I mean? So I think the Korean culture can show that it's a very, very strict conservative culture. But I really believe that we should live our lives that there's a constant healing in place. Redemption in K-dramas is so great to see, right? That's why we love it, because we relate to it, even if the situation has nothing to do with us in real life. Meaning, you don't have to relate to the situation at all, but you relate to somebody who decides to turn their life around, or somebody like the antagonist, redeeming him herself, and you realize they deserve that, even if you still don't like their character. Does that make sense? I'm going to pause here. Recipe for Farewell was heavy for me, but also healing watching it through the end. Farewell, remind me of that one. I'm not sure I know that one. Or you could say the Korean title, or yeah. But yeah, if it's heavy, but also healing to watch it. Yeah, okay, so good example. Thank you for sharing that it was hard to watch, but you watched it. Someone said, When Life Gives You Tangerines, they didn't want to start it, and it was just me. This is why I called it Noona's Noonchi, Nuances. I sensed they needed to watch it, and they kind of said it going, I should watch it. And I go, why do you feel like you should watch it? And then they kind of share, and I go, then I think you should watch it, So then maybe watch it, but give yourself a break. Maybe watch one half of an episode at a time, but it is really good to watch, So going back to that, stories, people believe in second chances for themselves. Well, when you watch the K-dramas where the underdog or an antagonist that you saw why they turn out the way they did and did behavior that you can't stand, and then you see all those stories, all of them are healing. It gives the multidimensional look at human behavior, that you don't see in real life. You don't see real life, like you don't see a multidimensional person, right? Maybe your friend or family because you know their stories, but generally speaking, you see somebody and you don't know really what's behind their behavior. You just see them doing this and they hurt you, and you're like, oh my goodness, why are they like this? So I feel like I've come to a good place with that because of my work, where I'm like, yeah, I wonder why that's kind of mean. What's that about? I do tend to ask that question because I'm like, there's something always there, So that's the concept of like, yeah, you need to believe that people should get a second chance. But saying that, if you're not ready to give somebody a second chance, or you don't want to, then that's fine too, But generally speaking, when you harbor, I guess, that resentment or bitterness or unforgiveness, that's why forgiveness is such a big theme in K-dramas. When you forgive somebody and you see what you see in the K-dramas is dramatic, like very dramatized, like as in you see their healing. I do see that in real life too, where they choose to forgive even if they don't want to, but it's for their sake. Then that's another example of, well, that will help you. So it's really important to second chance for not necessarily for that other person. Maybe it's for you to give somebody a second chance for yourself to heal is really important. Yeah. Dr. Romantic, Oh, okay. Yes, Hansokyo. Thank you for that. Yes, I did hear about that. Oh, okay. Maybe I chose not to watch that because it was really heavy. So, an estranged husband learning to cook for his terminally ill wife. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing about that drama. See, there's so many. By the way, he was in one that I do want to see that's on my list called Doubt. The actress won the Peck Song recently for Best New Actress for her role, I think, as his daughter. There's so many good dramas out there. They're all on my list. By the way, the good thing to look at if you're looking for new dramas is to go to the award shows and who won and what won, because that's a good sign of, I don't know, some drama that's critically acclaimed that you might be like, why would I watch this? And then you really realize why. I watch the award shows and then actually hear about a drama that I never even knew about. And then I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh, that's why it was good. Yeah, that's an example. So hopefully that helped you. Also, stories that's in my book, they help you externalize. So a situation you're watching that you may be struggling with, you watch a story on a K-drama, again, nothing to do with your story or does. And you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe I need to do that. So I see that all the time. Or I'll see something going, oh, I really like the way they had that conversation. That's something I can't do in real life, you know? So I also process that way as well. Okay, let's go. Is there another question? Oh, Tableau and RM both explore vulnerability through lyrics. How can music like this help us process complex emotions? Why is it important to have emotional outlets? So yeah, I did a reel on that song because I kept getting questions about it. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me deep dive the song because I've heard it. And I didn't, and maybe it's just the place I'm in. I didn't find it depressing. A lot of folks came to me going, the song is depressing. And that's why I addressed it as actually maybe when they wrote the song, it was their way of expressing a difficult time. But I don't like looking at things as depressing when you're expressing your deep, dark emotions, because that can be actually very healing. It was maybe people find it depressing because they're like, they feel bad for the artist going through a hard time. I think that was more the empathetic part of it. But man, I think music is very powerful. Hence why people love BTS, right? Exploring their lyrics to their own music. They're doing that. Actually, they're doing that themselves. And then you're just joining in that experience. That's what their music is. And then there's certain songs that they wrote for ARMY too, right? Magic Shop being one. So I think it's very important to have those outlets. That's another reason why we love the OSTs of K-dramas. Even if you don't understand all the lyrics, the music reminds you of your enjoyment of the drama or your sadness of the drama or nostalgia. I think vulnerability, being vulnerable, it really is being courageous. You have to express. I get actually, this is a pet peeve. When people are like, oh, yeah, you know what? They're this way. They're depressed or they're anxious because they shared something. And I'm like, actually, no. I'll say that, right? Defending people going, maybe they're going through a hard time, but actually everybody does. So period. Everybody goes through a hard time, period. Everybody has this is the perspective of trauma informed. Everybody has some sort of trauma in their life, period. That's my perspective on that one. But nobody not goes through a hard time. And so when people are like, oh yeah, I think that person's depressed because they shared this, I go, actually let an expert decide that, but maybe they're feeling depressed, but that doesn't mean that they are depressed. That makes sense. So you could feel depressed at a given moment. Anybody can, but that doesn't mean you're a depressed person or you're going through depression because you're being vulnerable. Vulnerability, especially through music, writing, art, that's why people express it. And I honestly believe this, but the most creative people in this world have expressed that. And that's what we're seeing, particularly through the song. The most creative, most genius, intelligent people harbor a lot, right? And they internalize too. So even more so important for them to express through their art or whatever the art is. It could be music here, but it could be something else too. So I didn't find it depressing either. It was more liberating, the ability to let go. Yeah. And you guys know it was written a couple years ago. So people are also thinking, oh my goodness, but that could have been that moment, right? But also, I also believe it could be something continual. And I really meant it when you say you could have continuous pain in your life because that's maybe a narrative of your life because something you've gone through or going through. But At the same time, that pain is there, but you can experience all this happy and joy. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And I think that's the misconception of mental health. Like, you're depressed and you're depressed. I'm like, not really. There's a lot of people who struggle with depression, but can live happy lives. So you just have to work at it. That's why I said it takes a lot of work, some more than others. But just pain can always be there. It might always be there. But at the same time, you're navigating that pain, but you have all this happy stuff, right? So that's just part of a narrative. So that's why I said don't run away from something like that. Remember, I've said this before, if you resist something, it will persist. So don't resist your stress, don't resist your anxiety, don't resist your sadness. You're sad, and then you'll face it, and then you navigate it the best you can. So it's never about how you feel, it's what you do when you're feeling that way. So clearly I don't want you to do something not so healthy, right? So that's kind of like what I work with. Never will I say, why are you sad? Why are you feeling bad, right? You feel sad, you feel bad, and then you just figure out why. I ask myself that too, why do I feel this way? It's like you can ask yourself that. What's going on? Why does this person make me feel this way? So it's also okay to ask, right? So very important to have emotional outlets. What is it for you? K-dramas, K-pop, BTS, certain shows you watch, certain things you do, you dance, do it. You have to have those emotional outlets. To answer that question, it is very important to have those emotional outlets, like the no-brainer. You must have it, And so that's why I think it's very, very important to express your emotions in your own way with the right people around you. So hopefully that helped you. Yeah, I really like their song. Actually, it's kind of catchy too. It's kind of in my head right now. Okay, is that the last question? Oh, okay. The imagery of rain is often used in Korean lyrics and dramas to symbolize pain or rebirth. What does emotional rain represent in mental health, and how can people learn to weather it? Wow, that's like a very artsy question. The image of rain. So I never thought of it like that. I never thought that deeply of rain. It rains a lot in Korea. They have rain, but they also have lots of sun. And so we do see that imagery. I think it does show. The best thing I can think of where rain was used in some emotional state was Goblin, because we saw it recently where Goblin, Gongyu, was just feeling depressed and he was feeling sad about his life or just in general, and he would make it rain. So emotional rain, yeah. So if we're thinking also even RM's and Tableau song, I don't always want to say stop the rain. You don't want it to always be raining in your life. But maybe it's a way to reword that. Stop the rain if it's too much, or hold an umbrella, like I'm thinking emotionally, to get through it, right? Emotional rain, if it's too much for you and it's hampering your daily functioning, then yes, something must be done. But when there's maybe there is a constant rain, like it could be one chapter of your life, I feel like that's okay. Am I making sense? There is no something like you're not going to be sunshiny every day. But if you feel like the rain is too much and you're in a downpour and you like can't breathe or something, and you feel like you're overwhelmed by that, or your things are foggy, then I would say maybe you need to do something about that more professionally. I say this the best I can. If you feel like you need help more professionally because you are hampered daily functioning, then yes. But if you feel like you're just going through a rough time and you can still get through it with help from friends and family, then yes, that's fine too. So that emotional rain, if it's a downpour and you can't see and there is a consistent rain, I need you to do something about it. And that's okay, and that might be a moment in your life where you need some help, right? Hopefully I'm answering that. That's a very deep question. I'm trying to think what else that I tell clients when they feel like they're in a fog. If you're constantly feeling foggy and the things you used to enjoy are no longer enjoyable, then that might be where you might need some help more professionally, or more aggressively. And that's okay too. Does that make sense? This is coming from a therapist. Yeah. And that is how actually we define certain things. When your daily functioning is hampered, can't get out of bed, the things you normally do, your work is a fog, then and that emotional rain is what I'm thinking it means, then I need you to not just learn to weather it. I need you to do something about it, like get help. Okay, that was like a depressing question. But hopefully that helped you. Is that the last question? Okay, I think that is. Hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for those questions. On a more fun note, yeah, like on a personal note, my son graduates, our fourth and final child graduates in about 3 weeks. Whoa, it's like, wow. And that means a lot of transition actually for our family. So actually on my end, things are a little heavy. We're going through a lot of transitions. They're all good. As well, I mean, actually, it depends on how you look at it. Good as in it's nothing bad, but moving on to the next, I guess, part of life of empty nesting. Um, and that looks different because it means physical, like a move in store. We will physically move, I'm going to miss this office. Yeah. I'll just have to design it where I move to. And, looking into getting visas for Korea because, yes, we will be more in Korea. And so I think we saw that coming, right? Yeah. Empty nesters. But that doesn't matter really because even when we're in Korea, like we're constantly, that's why like it's like I will constantly be in that zone of East Coast, well, USA time and Korea time. But we are we have to transition and have to make some big decisions. So thank you. Yeah, it is kind of exciting. And this summer we'll be doing lots of paperwork, and it'll be good. But just still a lot of stress because there's some transitions in store, right? And we've been in this house with our kids for 19 years, but it will be time to move. Yeah, we're slowly making that decision. Not because we don't want to, but I also think it's time to move back to our stomping ground. And we're going to do that and then we're already 80% in Korea. So I don't think it's going to be more than that, but it might be. And so we're preparing. So that's what's going on with us. Yeah, a lot of good fun stuff up ahead. And you'll be seeing me. Oh, I'm going to be traveling next week to New York. I'm really excited about that. Seeing some folks that I know and then professionally. And whenever I travel and I have to speak, it is stressful. So I'm preparing myself going, oh my gosh, I hope I'm over this jet lag. And I'm doing 2 different talks. So and I also, I guess with my book, they were like, do you want a table? I was like, oh my goodness, the table and booths. It reminds me of Soul Festa. A lot of work, but I am having a little table there and I'll show some of my merch. Like, oh, I didn't even show you this. Our brochure. Let me show you this. Yeah, like this. This is what we gave out at the Soul Festa with bags. And then my book. So I'll be doing that in New York City. And then we'll be traveling to LA before we go to Seoul. So lots up ahead. Yeah, guys, I know, big decision, but I'm still looking at it as part of life. We knew it was coming. We just have to now make the decision. But who wants to move? Gosh, do you know how, like, it's a pain to move, like pack. Oh my goodness, I don't even want to think about it, but we have to do that. So anyways, okay, guys, that's it. Thank you for sticking on with me. Hopefully I answered your questions. Lots going on. I will see you. I will be in Los Angeles, just like a whirlwind, but I'm trying to organize some people. So if you guys are there, hopefully we can meet. And then I'll be in Seoul for the next tour, which is exciting. Keep in touch. DM me as usual. Love you guys. See you soon.